Now, Xiaomi has launched the Redmi Note 5 with the bezel-less design, but it has also launched a more premium version of it called the Redmi Note 5 Pro. You get the Redmi Note 5 at 9,999 for the base variant, and you get the Note 5 Pro at 13,999 for the base variant. You're watching India Today Tech, and in this video I am going to review the Redmi Note 5 Pro and tell you if it makes sense to spend 4,000 rupees extra on this device. Let's get started. Two major upgrades to the Redmi Note 5 Pro is the bezel-less design and dual cameras on the rear, and they clearly differentiate the phone from the previous generation Note 4. Yes, the design looks very familiar from the front, and the dual camera design at the back is outrightly copy-pasted from the iPhone X. But the bezel-less screen and the dual camera aside, the Note 5 Pro looks every bit as sleek and premium as the last year's Redmi Note 4. It comes with an almost full metal body, with top and bottom ends being plastic and brushed metal finish on the back. At front it has a curved 2.5D Corning glass topping the display, and there are rounded edges and polished antenna lines on the sides. Being narrow, the Redmi Note 5 Pro fits easily in your hands, but its longish form factor wouldn't allow you to use it with one hand as easily as the Redmi Note 4, since the display is bigger and taller. It is also a little heavier than the Note 4, but the extra weight adds some firm reassurance to the whole package. The phone has very nice build quality and is finished well. The power button and the volume rocker on the right offer decent tactile feedback, while a dual SIM hybrid card slot lies on the left. The phone also has a bottom firing mono speaker and an IR blaster at the top for controlling smart home appliances through the Mi Remote app. So from the back, Note 5 Pro does look different from the Note 5, and Xiaomi would want you to believe that it's a more premium device, but I think shifting the cameras to the left or copying it off the Apple iPhone X doesn't make it premium. But the good part is Xiaomi sticks to the basics and doesn't let the phone feel cheap. The build quality is really fine, and for a phone at this price point, it certainly feels premium in the hand. To top that, it also offers a bezel-less design, which if compared to the likes of Mi A1 or the Moto G5s Plus would be a great upgrade. Now the Redmi Note 5 Pro comes with a 5.99-inch full screen FHD Plus display, which has a resolution of 2160:1080p and a pixel density of 403 ppi. Because Xiaomi has removed much of the bezels on the top and the bottom and also on the sides, the Redmi Note 5 Pro feels smaller than a regular 6-inch phone. Also, it supports an unusual aspect ratio of 18:9 as against the more traditional 16:9. The quality of the panel here is good, somewhat better than the Mi A1. Brightness levels are also quite adequate for outdoor viewing, but you do need to adjust the level manually, as the auto mode doesn't properly adjust the brightness according to the surroundings. So the auto brightness bar on the Note 5 Pro is calibrated in such a way that you feel that the brightness is a notch lower than what it should be. This helps save the battery, and since the phone has such big screen, it is bound to use some tricks to keep the battery backup similar to what it was on the previous phone. In fact, the battery backup on the Note 5 Pro is amazing. If you use it generally for browsing, WhatsApp or messaging, you'll get around 2 days of backup. And if you use it more heavily for watching videos or playing games, you'll still get a day of battery backup. This is because of three major reasons. One is because it uses tricks to minimize battery usage. Secondly, it uses the Snapdragon 636 chip, which is more efficient than the Snapdragon 625. And thirdly, the phone itself houses a big battery. It has a 4000 mAh of battery capacity, which is similar to the Redmi Note 4 and offers great backup. But Xiaomi hasn't done everything right in this department. The Note 5 Pro still uses a micro USB port for charging and data transfer, which means the data transfer will be slow and so will be the charging. In terms of raw power, the Redmi Note 5 is above all budget devices. Xiaomi phones are known to offer best hardware under the hood for the price they come at, and the Note 5 Pro is yet another holder of this top position. It houses Snapdragon 636 with 4GB of RAM on the base variant with 64GB of storage, which churn out 40% more power than current phones like Moto X4 or the upcoming phone like Nokia 6 2018. Gaming is not a problem on the phone, and most graphic intensive apps run quite smoothly. The chipset is more battery efficient and supports dual camera. It is also up to 2 times faster at catching mobile internet compared to previous generation chip. Also, an obvious result is a fluid use of software. Apps load quite fast on the Note 5 Pro, and multitasking is also smooth. But then, this also depends on how fluid the MIUI 9 is supposed to be in comparison to stock Android run on the Mi A1. It surely has new features, but MIUI 9 is still a cluttered interface. The menu system makes it really hard to find what you're looking for. So the Note 5 Pro is not low on power. In fact, it is the only phone in its price segment to have a Snapdragon 636 chip. Fact of the matter is, the phone doesn't use stock Android interface like the Mi A1, but banks on MIUI 9, which is built on Android 7.0 Nougat. Compared to the other skins, it may not be very slow, and compared to the MIUI 8, it may no more be very cluttered. But obviously, it cannot replace the stock Android interface for its simplicity and for the fact that it won't be getting regular updates or very fast upgrades as the stock Android will. In the camera department, Redmi Note 5 Pro houses dual camera system on the rear with 12 megapixel and 5 megapixel sensors, and at the front there is a 20 megapixel shooter. In good light, the rear camera captures good amount of details, but the colors are a bit over processed, as you would see in the camera samples. The reds would appear more red, and the violet color has a much darker shade. Otherwise, the camera handles light well and properly renders shadow and highlight areas, even when you are taking photos in extremely harsh lighting situations like this. But more importantly, the camera works better in low light. Shots are clean with little hint of noise or graininess. To compare it, the camera performs better than what we saw on the Mi A1. But again, for bokeh shots or portrait images, Mi A1 would be still the first choice. Note 5 Pro's photos look slightly over-processed, as the edges are not clearly or sharply defined. Coming to the front camera, the details are definitely not what a 20 megapixel camera would capture. But yes, they are definitely better than the Mi A1 and many other phones in this price segment. Even indoors, it captures good colors and details, and the color of the face is properly reproduced. There is also a software-based portrait mode for the front camera, but it is ironically not very different from what the rear camera can achieve. So to sum up the pros and cons of the Redmi Note 5 Pro, in a similar design and form factor, you get a bigger screen, the cameras are slightly better, and the battery backup is still almost the same despite the fact that you get a bigger screen. And the build quality of the phone is also great for its price point. But on the minus side, you get an older interface for charging and data transfer, and for the fact that the camera design at the back looks like a rip-off of the iPhone X. So should you buy the Redmi Note 5 Pro? We'd say that if your budget hovers around 10,000 rupees, you should go for the Redmi Note 5, because the screen is very similar and the fact that the chipset won't make much of a difference in daily use. So the performance is more or less similar if you don't have very intensive gaming or hardcore tasks to perform. But on the other side, if you're looking for a more premium device, you get a better chipset, better cameras, and slightly better build quality as well with the Redmi Note 5 Pro. And for stock Android interface and a better dual camera implementation, we would say the Mi A1 is still the better device. Let us know what you think about the Note 5 Pro in the comment section below. Also, if you've liked this video, hit the thumbs up button and share this video with your friends. Subscribe to our channel to get latest videos on technology like this. Thank you for watching.